In this video, I'm going to be going over 30 things you need to know about Valguero Ascended. These are just going to be things about the map, like locations for resources, creatures that are on this map and unique to this map, and some new stuff that they've added as well for some of the players that might not know about them. First off, I'm kind of just going to show off the map here. And as you can see, this is the first map to not be surrounded by water and not be on an island, which I think is really cool, actually. It's probably like my favorite thing about this map is it's not an island. It has the water in the center, and then it's surrounded by mountains, and then you've got the land. You have the chalk cliffs at the bottom right. The bottom left is a massive redwoods biome, and to the right there's like a pine forest, and then there's the jungle biome. To the left is the tundra, which is now very bright orange in Ark Ascended. Before it was like brown, which I'm not really sure how I feel about the orange. And the very top is a giant Arctic biome, as well as there's a giant ocean underneath, as well as an aberration zone, which we'll get into. Number 2 is the aberration zone. This is the entrance for it right here, and here's the coordinates for it. It's kind of like on the river there. You could like raft over to it pretty easily, and then you can go down there from here. It's like these giant purple crystals. It's pretty obvious that you're coming in here. It's a massive cave entrance, and like I said, it leads to an area that is pretty much exactly like Aberration. It feels just like Aberration, honestly. I think it's designed, it's even got like metal parts to it, just like the Aberration does. So like it's going to remind you a lot of that. And you've got the Aberration creatures as well as aberrant variants all in here as well. There's no bioluminescent biome though, which kind of sucks because that's like my favorite biome from Aberration. But they do have the red zone. It is pretty small, but they do have a red zone in this Aberration area. There's also a second entrance to the Aberration zone, and this one's in this waterfall area right here by the well, it's in the jungle area, like in the mountains. So you can go down there, and then you go down these waterfalls. So you're gonna need a way to get down there. You could just jump in the water, I guess, but you might want to be a little bit careful because if you don't have a way to get back up, then you're kind of screwed. Also, you can't bring flyers into the Aberration zone, so you'll need to be careful about that. And once again, this is just a second entrance in there if you need another way to get in. And it's pretty cool. It's a lot more vertical though, like I said, so the other entrance is going to be a lot easier if you just want to walk down there, and this one I think would be a good way to get like rock drakes in and stuff. And number 4 is you can find the broodmother out in the wild. It has its own giant like cave. Well, it's pretty open. It's kind of like in a cavern. This is the coordinates for it. It's in the redwoods biome. It's pretty easy to spot. There's giant webs in a massive hole in the ground, and the broodmother just spawns and you can fight it, which is like the first and I think only world boss. I guess technically the King Titan is now a world boss, so that one would also count. But this one literally spawns like pretty much all the time. You just go there and you can find it, unless someone's like already killed it, then you'll have to wait for it to spawn in, I guess. But you can get some loot from this one too, and there's a giant cave. Once you defeat it, you can go in as well. Number 5 is the ocean biome. The ocean in this map is completely in a massive cave. So as you can see, there is like this little lake in the center, but you can actually go under it at those coordinates. And then once you do, that's where you have access to like the ocean, which is, like I said, just a giant cave. This is where all the water creatures spawn. Even though it doesn't really seem like much of them were spawning in single player for me, but if you do need to do anything underwater, this is where it's going to be at. All the resources and stuff are down here. You can find all the water creatures and everything you need. Number 6 is the Tribute Cave, which is a cave full of obsidian and metal, which is also a decent base spot. I mean, it is kind of small, so maybe it would only be good for like a starter PvP base, but you know, it is a spot, and it's in a really cool spot. It's in the, like that tribute area with the red tree, and these are the locations for it in the jungle biome. Number 7 is there's oil veins on this map, but if you go to this one spot, there's actually 4 oil veins, so it's a great spot for getting metal. It's right here. It's like pretty close to the center of the map, and you can, like I said, place a bunch of oil veins here and pretty much get unlimited oil from this. I think it's a really great spot for that. And number 8 is a bunch of metal spots. So obviously you're going to want metal in here, and there's a ton of different spots for it. I'm going to show the spot and then show the coordinates for it. This one is a pretty decent spot right here. This one I think is a really good spot. You can kind of find it like on this hill here. It's by the jungle biome, but like right outside of it, and that's where you can get all the metal from. And there's not just metal here, there's obsidian here as well that you can get. This spot has a bunch of crystal, and it's by the cherry blossom tree, so it's pretty easy to spot. If you see that huge area of cherry blossom trees, it's just right above it, and it's where the waterfalls are coming down from. There's also this spot here. which is where the oil veins are. So if you want to place down those oil veins or those oil pumps, and then you can get some metal here while you're doing that. And then that's the location for it. Kind of central on the map. Here's another metal spot that you can get. This one's like on this giant archway, and you can get some metal here too. It's by like that fort on that little island by Greenob. This is another really good spot in the redwoods biome. It also has a few crystal spots, but this one's mainly covered in a bunch of metal that's scattered across this big hill, and it's in an opening where there's not many trees, so it's really easy to spot. And this is the location for that spot in the redwoods biome. And here's another metal spot. This one doesn't have a ton of metal in it, but it does have some nodes. If you're maybe closer to this spot and you want to get some. This one also has access to crystal as well, and a bunch of rocks, maybe if you want to get some flint. Here's the location. Like I said, this one is pretty central. And number 9 is a great crystal spot. You can find this in the redwoods biome. It's very obvious when you see it because there's all these purple crystals that give off that purple light, and there's tons of crystal down here. You could just bring an Enki and get tons of crystal. It's a great spot for farming that. So that is a good idea. I would definitely recommend going down there. Like I said, it's in the redwoods biome right there. Here's another spot for crystal too. This is another one of the metal spots, but this is a really good crystal spot as well. All those blue crystals will give you plenty of crystal. I don't want to say it's as good as that purple spot, but this one is a pretty good spot too. And maybe if this one's closer to your base, you can go to this one instead. And number 10 is they have poly plants on Valguero now. They didn't have these in Ark Survival Evolved, but on Ascended they got poly plants. They're in a few different spots like the Broodmother Cave, but they also have them in this tree right here, which is I think the easiest spot to get to. You just fly to it in the redwoods, and there's not really much there, so you can just harvest all these up with like a sickle or something and get tons of polymer. But like I said, this isn't the only spot you can find them. You can find them in the Aberration zone too, but I think this is the easiest spot that I would recommend for getting polymer. And number 11 is the Megaraptor. This is the exclusive creature for Valguero. This wasn't in Ark Survival Evolved, but in Ark Survival Ascended, it's the exclusive creature for Valguero. Right now, you can only find it on this map. It's got some pretty good abilities. It's really maneuverable. You can like strafe left and right and run, which is pretty awesome. It has a pounce attack where you jump in the air and then you could pounce at something and deal damage to it and kind of stun it, I think. It also has a hunt mode where you can like lock onto targets. It'll have like their health. As you can see, it's like green, and then the more damage you do, it goes from yellow to orange to red, and it outlines them so you can easily see them and you can kind of like stalk them. It also has the ability to double jump, so you can jump in the air once and you can jump again, and then you can change directions while midair while you're jumping, which is kind of insane. And here is the size comparison. It is about the same size as a Carno, maybe a tad bit bigger, and then it's a lot smaller than an Allosaurus. Number 12 is the Redwoods Castle. This is a big spot, and of course was a big spot in Ark Survival Evolved. Still is in Ark Ascended, except it's even bigger now because the back area has been opened up, where there's this like cube that you can build in. I guess this like square shaped room, and you got some stairs leading down there, so you could build in this spot. Of course, you could build in the castle before, but now you got even more room. And number 13 is there's a new cave in the Chalk Cliffs. It's like in this little corner here where you come in, and this is a really cool cave. It's got like a giant area where there's a bunch of water. Well, there's also a bunch of bugs and stuff. You need to be careful about that. And then you go back and there's a like set of ruins with the Paleo Rex and a dog, which is cool that they have the Paleo Rex in here. I believe this is a tribute to Up From the Depths dog that passed away, which is cool that they made a tribute for that in here. This is the location of the cave if you want to go and explore it. And number 14 is Valguero has two new types of variants of golems. This is the chalk golem that they have, which you can find in the Chalk Cliffs area. It's just a white version of the golem. And then my favorite is the ice golem. As you can see, it looks really cool on Ark Survival Ascended. It looks like it's made out of ice, and I think it's really dope. I can't wait to tame one of these things and have it around. And number 15 is the Ice Wyvern Trench. You might have used the Ice Wyverns on Ragnarok, but they're a little bit hard to find because they're just in the forests. But there's their own trench on Valguero. This was the first map to have an Ice Wyvern Trench. And on this map you can get Ice Wyverns and you can get Fire Wyverns. And the Fire Wyverns are found right underneath the Ice Trench. So there's a little cave entrance. There's two entrances on both ends of the trench. And then it'll go from ice to lava, where you'll find the Wyverns. The Fire Wyverns, you can't find Poison Wyverns or Lightning Wyverns, which kind of sucks, but you can get Fire ones, so that's cool. And number 16 is there's a fort in the center of the map on this island. This is new to Ark Ascended, but I I thought it was important to mention because this is like one of the big ruins now on this map that is in the center, and I think it's an awesome base spot. I do really think I want to end up basing here because you got like room for plenty of creatures and a massive spot where you could basically fit everything you need in a base, as well as you got like a dock area where you can set up. But overall, it's just a really cool like build. Number 17 is the Crystal Cave. This is a cave. It was on Ark Survival Evolved, still here on Ark Ascended, except it's a lot more purple. It wasn't really purple at all. And it was more like white in Ark Survival Evolved. But here it's purple and it's got a ton of crystals. So if you want another crystal spot, this is a good place for farming it. Or if you want to build your base in here, I mean, it's going to stop the spawns of crystal, but it could be a cool base spot. But it's also a good spot for farming crystal if you need that too. This is a location. It's found in the Chalk Cliffs biome. And number 18 is the Oil Cave. Very similar to the Crystal Cave, except for crystal, it's oil. And this one's found in the Tundra biome. You got oil leaking from the ceiling. And if you don't want to have to do the oil pump method and you just want to farm it, or maybe you don't have the stuff to build an oil pump yet, this is a great spot to find some oil and to harvest it up. You can just bring a pickaxe in here, or you can bring an Anki, anything to come and farm some oil with. There's also oil veins in here too, so if you want to set up oil pumps, you can do that as well. This Oil Cave, it could also be a good build spot as well. And like I said, it's just a pretty awesome cave and definitely is worth knowing about. And number 19 is there's rock drakes on Valguero. This is the second map in Ark Survival Ascended to now have rock drakes. Ark Survival Evolved, they didn't have rock drakes on this map, but now they're here, which is awesome. I think it's kind of dumb that they removed them because this was originally a mod map, and then when they brought it to official, they removed the rock drakes from it. But now they're back finally, and you can get it in the rock drake trench. You can find rock drakes down here, plenty of eggs. And it's very nice that they actually have the rock drakes in here now. And this is the location for them. You're going to need to go in the Aberration area first, and then you'll come in there and you'll see like these pink crystals coming from the ceiling, and you'll know this is the area. And number 20, there's also Reapers on this map. Most people weren't expecting there to be Reapers. Of course, with Reapers, you can also find Nameless here too, so you can get Nameless Venom. But Reapers are pretty awesome, and you'll be able to tame them as well. I'm very glad that they added Reapers to this map. And it's another map other than Aberration that you can get them on if you don't want to have to play on Aberration. And number 21 is the Deinonychus. This was the original exclusive creature for Valguero. It eventually was added to other maps, and it definitely will be added to other maps in the future. But right now, it's only on Valguero. And in order to tame these ones, you need to find them in the Chalk Cliffs biome, and then you steal their eggs and raise them. I usually just use the torch method. Kind of like how you hatch wyverns. You can put standing torches in a circle and hatch it that way, or you can use the egg incubator, but if you don't have access to that, torches work. These guys can like pounce onto people or dinos, and then they do a bleed attack, and they're pretty awesome. You can climb walls with them as well. Overall, they're kind of amazing. They're one of the best creatures in the game, and I'm glad to see them back in Ark Ascended. Number 22 is I'm going to go over all the new creatures that were not on Valguero, but now are. Of course, we already went over the Reaper and the Rock Drake. The Rhiniothatha is now on here, which is awesome. We have the fantastic Tames creatures, like the Dreadmare, the Pyromane, which is found in the Wyvern Trench. Then there's all the 4 variants of the Drakelings that you can find. Of course, the brand new Elder Claw that's new to this map. It's not exclusive to this map, though. There's the Bison, the Gigaraptor, and then there's the Megaraptor, which, of course, is exclusive to this map. There's the Dinosuchus, the Archelon, and the Dinotherium. Of course, there's a couple underwater creatures like the Helicoprion and the Zavactinus as well, which all were not on Valguero in Ark Survival Evolved. Of course, a lot of these ones are new to this game, but they also added the cat to this map as well, which wasn't on Valguero originally because cats weren't in Ark Survival Evolved, but it's nice to know that we have cats on this map too. And number 23 is if you're looking for silica pearls, this is a great spot for them. It's in this little lake by the tundra. It's like on the border between the tundra and the Arctic. Here's the spot for it on the map. And there's a bunch of different spots for silica pearls in this little lake that are kind of hard to spot because they kind of blend in with the terrain and the rocks around them, but they do shine a little bit, so look for that. And if you like cryopod an angler in here and then you obviously use that, you're going to be getting a ton of silica pearls all around here. So this is a great spot for them if you're in need of them. And number 24 is if you're looking for black pearls, the best spot in my opinion is the Rock Drake Trench. You can find them there, and they're on the ground. You don't even have to go underwater or anything. You can just harvest them by hand. But also, if you want, you can find them in that giant like ocean cave as well. But this is the spot for the Aberration black pearl spots. Number 25 is the Button Cave. This is an iconic cave on Valguero, and if you just started playing, you might not know about it. It's called the button cave because you press a button to open it, and it has that little door that comes in. This is how you get to it, or the little spot to it on the map, and there's a button to the left. It's a pretty giant cave where you go down when you first go in, and there's a bunch to explore in here. I'm not going to spoil all of it if you haven't been in here, but it's pretty cool. At number 26, if you're looking for green gems, the best spot to find them is go to this spot on the map, and then you'll see this like giant metal spot. You go right, and there's going to be a massive cave entrance. You come in here, and there's going to be green gems pretty much immediately. And this isn't the only spot, but there's a huge cluster of them right there. And then you go to the right, and you'll find even more right next to this plant species Z seed. So if you need green gems for aberration stuff, then this is a great spot for them. And if you're looking for blue gems and red gems, they're both in the same spot, which is basically like right at the entrance of the rock drake den into the red zone. First, you'll see some blue gems and big clusters that you can get, and then you go down just a little bit, and you'll find some red gems that you can get. There's tons of red gems going throughout. It's pretty easy to find them here, and you'll need those for all kinds of aberration exclusive stuff. And make sure to bring a hazard suit because this place is radioactive, and you don't want to die. So I would recommend bringing a hazard suit, but you're going to need blue gems for it, so you might want to just, you know, try and get those before you get the red gems right there. This is the spot you need to be in exactly to get those both. Number 28 is you can find dead bodies along the shoreline, like of Ichthyosaurus and Carbonimes. You can also find like Rexes and Stegos in the swamp biome, but if you harvest these, you get organic polymer and spoiled meat, so it's a great way to get organic polymer in the early game, and it's a great way to get spoiled meat in the early game to make narcotics. But I mean, you can also just harvest these with chainsaws and get tons of organic polymer if you don't want to get them from polyplants, and it might even be a little bit easier than getting them from polyplants too, so it's a great spot for doing that. Number 29 is if you're looking for obsidian. The best spot, or one of the best spots, is on this mountain here. It's kind of spread out, but there's tons of obsidian lined throughout this mountain. And like I said, you just go up and down it, and you'll see obsidian every place you go. There's also metal here too, so if you want to get metal, you can get it here. But you can get obsidian here too, so maybe this could be a good spot where you get both of those resources on one trip. But like I said, obsidian is covering this mountain. This is the spot for it, very close to the jungle biome, but it's like in between that and the pine forest. Number 30 is this map has a unique boss called Grendel. Of course, this wasn't on Ark Survival Evolved, but it's on Ark Survival Ascended, and this one seems to be a pretty hard boss. Obviously, I haven't fought it yet because the map just came out, but it looks pretty difficult, and I believe it like heals itself. It will kind of jump in and then jump out of the boss fight when it's getting hurt, and then you have to like summon it back in and deal damage to it. It's got minions as well. It's got like Deinonychus minions and Vulture minions that are super high level that are going to try and take you out. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it or find it helpful, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe. Thanks for watching, and bye.